Hi, BookTube! Yes, I am a Booktok refugee, but at the same time, I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel, and I actually made videos before, and don't go digging because you're not going to find them. They weren't BookTube, they were YouTube videos. And this is like, I was a lot cringier than I am now, so yeah, those aren't going to resurface. TikTok is bouncing back and forth, we get that. I'm enjoying myself on TikTok, but I have always wanted to make longer form content. And can I be honest? The vertical video format has always annoyed me. Anytime I go anywhere, I want to hold my phone horizontally. I want to have the widescreen. I want to see everything. And it is so difficult to keep your videos in vertical format while trying to show a book, so you're squeezing your book in your face into the frame. Also, the fact that on TikTok, you have to grab someone's attention. You have to give them a reason to stop scrolling. And ideally, videos should be less than 2 minutes, but we're talking about books. It is so hard to talk about books and keep your attention and keep it short. So here, I can blabber on, because you're expecting to click on a video while you're working or wherever you are. You're not expecting to just instantaneously keep on scrolling. This is a YouTube video. I can talk. If you're interested, you'll stay. If I've scared you away by now, I'm sorry. So why are my books wrapped? We're still not there. I love fantasy. I love epic fantasy. I've dabbled into some sci-fi. I'm not big on the space exploration, but some sci-fi dystopian books are fantastic. I'm not huge on the romance category. Nothing is wrong with those. I am not against them. I'm just letting you know right now that on my page, you're not going to get a lot of contemporary romance recommendations. Not unless they really talk into some like political point that really intrigue me or challenge my mental mindset. There's words to that, right? So I tend to lose my words sometimes. That's also why I got back into reading books. I stopped reading for about 7 years because adult, and all I had was a Kindle, and I can't absorb a lot of the information on a Kindle. I needed to have the physical books, but I didn't have the space. Well, now I have my own apartment, and I have the space, and I have my books, and I'm reading again. The main reason I wanted to get back into reading was because I noticed my vocabulary was somewhat dwindling. I used to get into a battle of wits with my brother, and I loved the fact that I can come back with sarcastic, witty comebacks, just bam, 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 bam. I got to the point in 2022, late 2023, when I realized I had to keep stopping to think about what I wanted to say. I couldn't really articulate in words what I was thinking. Like, even now, I somewhat struggle, but not near as much as I did in 2023. It's like, what has changed? What's changed is my mental focus. I'm constantly on some kind of technological app, whether it's the phone or the iPad or even on TV, scrolling, streaming, on video games. Like, I just want that instant gratification, and I wasn't reading. Like, I felt like I just had a broader vocabulary, again, lack of words, give me a thesaurus. I was just able to talk a lot better, a lot more professionally when I was reading books. So I wanted to integrate that back into my lifestyle. Okay, well, I'm an adult. How do I integrate books back when I don't have time for anything else? Okay, well, I have time for TV and I have time for video games. So I obviously have time. A lot of people will look at how many books I've read and like, well, how do you have time to read? I just don't watch stuff as much anymore. I'm not against it. I just don't. I want to know what happens at the end of my book. I want to know if the plot thickens. I want to know what happens to these characters. I just want to experience my entertainment in a different format that might take a little bit longer than a television screen. Nothing's wrong with either one. That's just why I got into just constantly reading books. My AC turned on. We're testing out this new microphone, so we'll see how that works out. Okay, why are my books wrapped? I'm glad you waited this entire time for me to answer that question. Early 2024, I was excited that I was getting back into reading. I had only really been back in the book world since November 2023. My friend was talking about some dragon book that came out, and she was like, oh yeah, Iron Flame is coming out on this day. I was like, I miss fantasy, and my favorite series of all time was Aragon. It's like, I want sassy dragons. I miss that. So I decided the morning of, everyone's talking about their Iron Flame pre-orders, and oh my gosh, I didn't get mine, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, let me just go to Target. Walked in, grabbed Fourth Wing, grabbed Iron Flame, remembered that Murtagh, which is a character in the Inheritance Cycle, the Aragon series, was coming out someday in November. And I looked it up. Murtagh came out that same day. So I grabbed Iron Flame, Fourth Wing, Murtagh, walked out the store, and that was the beginning of me getting back into reading, getting back into books. And so I started buying more. And then I started buying books that I intended to read. And I discovered what the phrase TBR stood for. And physical TBR as opposed to wish list. And in early 2024, I realized I had a big problem because I discovered thrift stores. I live in a metroplex. We have a plethora of thrift stores. I think we have like 7 half-price books. And there's tons of local bookstores all around. I was falling into a trap of collecting all these books that one day I will read and not realizing, yeah, there's a problem with that. I also was starting to get very overwhelmed with my bookshelf. I'm not a mood reader. I'm a strategic reader. I plan out what I want to read, what series. I can't just pick up other books in the middle of a series. I have to finish a series. If I start it, I finish it. To me, the series is the book. That is the story. That's just how my mind works. So I'm looking at my shelf at all of these partially completed series or these completed series, not knowing what I wanted to read next. And so my solution was to wrap my books. So that actually helped me twofold. First thing is, I was no longer overwhelmed. I didn't have to look at my bookshelf and not know what I wanted to read and just kind of like freeze in not knowing what to read next. The second thing it did was kind of like an Xbox achievement moment. I'm not allowed to look at my books unless I have read them or I am currently reading them. So every time I look at my shelf, any book that you see on my shelf, I have read it. If I want to keep looking at these gorgeous editions, if I want to keep looking at these amazing books that I bought, if I want to appreciate a completed series, I have to keep reading to open the next book. So in a way, Christmas kind of comes every week. I'm always unwrapping a new book. It sounds like a lot, but this has actually worked for me very well. And I always get excited to open a brand new book, open the next one. It kind of feels like Christmas. Did it stop me from buying books? No. In June, I had to buy more bookshelves. On the plus side, buying more bookshelves made me realize that I could still get bookshelves super affordable. I got these from IKEA, and I set it up in the way that I wanted to. So I built my dream library, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. Quite the opposite. So a lot of my books are from thrifting, library sales. One library in our Metroplex gives you a brown paper bag for $10, and on one trip, I fit 28 hardcover books into that bag. It was great. I do also make little mini books. I just have this jar of little replicas of the books that I'm reading, and I get satisfaction just putting those little books in my jar. I'm currently working on finishing a lot of the books because I had a lot of books that I had to make for my December book haul, which is already wrapped, so you can't see it. Actually, no, yeah. Those are some of the books right there that I need to wrap. I'll do that later. I have what I call my mini book world. I have mini bookshelves that I got from CB Prints and Gifts, and I will be working on arranging those one day and figuring out my game plan for what I'm going to be reading next. I don't know what this page is going to be about. I have fun reading books. I have fun talking about books. If I have a meme video I want to make, then sure, I'll plug it into the shorts, the reels. I got a ton of TikTok videos saved that I plan on recycling. On top of that, I also host reading sprints. I primarily did that on TikTok, but I'm slowly making the adjustment to move some of it over to YouTube. So on reading sprints, imagine you're in a living room with a bunch of your friends. We all have our own books. We're all reading our own books. For about 30, 40 minutes, we're just reading. And then for about 10 minutes, we come together and we chat. We could talk about our books, or our cats, or our kids, or our snacks, or our alcoholic beverage. After 10 minutes, we go back to reading. It's a fun way to just kind of like hang out with your friends, build this community. I have such a blast with it on TikTok, and I hope to replicate it over here on YouTube. The best part about my reading sprints is that I have 3 cats. And all 3 of them love to make their appearances. Majority of the people who follow me already know Xena very well because Xena is constantly popping in and out for attention, demanding playtime with her yarn whenever I am reading. Everyone knows Xena. Glitch is usually hiding, so she's kind of like the rare gem, the secret treasure in a video game. She might pop in and out once in a blue moon. If you catch her, you're lucky because she'll only sit on my lap for like 3 minutes and disappear. Oliver is a big 15-year-old beast to which I usually don't like having him on my lap because then I can't hold my book efficiently because he likes to pin my arms down. So, those are my cats. Other bonus fact, I'm a huge Stray Kids fan. I love K-pop. I'm still learning about a lot of the other groups, but Stray Kids hold my heart. I will be going to the concert. Thank you very much. So, you might see me post on here random Stray Kids miscellaneous videos. I told my friend that I would be learning a K-pop dance every week. That has not happened, and I don't know if that actually will. If I do, though, that will also be a video. So, ongoing. We'll find out. Besides that, I don't really know what else to talk about that isn't going to be coming up in future videos. I love talking about books. Obviously, it's BookTube. But heads up that I'm still working on how to review a book without giving spoilers. I don't know how to do that. If you're going to ask me about the theme of the book or what the author's purpose was in writing it, I don't know that either. My mind works kind of like black and white, so I can tell you how it affected me, how I felt, how I saw the parallels in what's going on in the book as opposed to what's going on in reality, things like that. But I'm not going to be going super in-depth in a book review because my mind doesn't work that way. But we're still going to have fun. So there's my TikTok handle. If it stays, this video will probably show like 25 years from now and you're going to be like, what's TikTok? Don't ask. You guys can follow me there for a lot more short-term content. I might be posting there more regularly, but I love YouTube. I miss YouTube. I'm glad to be here, and I hope to be here more consistently. So please subscribe. I do plan on my reading sprints and any YouTube lives being only for subscriber comments. And let's have fun. Let's go, YouTube. BookTube. Tube.